Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Colorado Buffaloes. What up, BWBs and all of my bandwagon buffs, Buff Nation? What up? Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. If you're in South Africa, the Philippines, if you're in Timbuktu, Africa, if you're in Dallas, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I am your host, guys. You are watching TLP. You're watching TLP Sports Club. This is TLP Live, free for all Fridays. I'm your host, Harry Billion. Welcome to the show. In today's show, we're going to be talking about, if we get to a lot of it, right? I want to talk about the playoff and how it looks. And then I want to talk about Colorado's matchup with the Texas Tech Red Raiders, Red Rangers, whatever their name is. Whoever they are. If you watch with us, I think it was on Saturday. If you watch that game with us, you kind of understand like how they are. You can kind of see, but something tells me that team is going to be ready to play. Because this is not a Colorado story, right? This is everybody has their own story to live out. And I'm sure that Texas Tech is not going to try to get caught up in the Colorado Cinderella story. So we're going to talk about all of that, the playoff bracket, what it looks like, Colorado's slim chance of making that playoff, the probability of Colorado making it, and then we're going to talk about fan bases around college football. So let's get into the show, guys. You know how this works. On your screen, guys, join tlplive@gmail.com. That is the email that you're gonna email and call in if you want to have your voice heard, or you can just be in the comments, guys. You can be in the chat, and you can be in the chat basically. But yeah, man. So welcome to TLP Sports Club. Let's get into the show. First, let's talk about Colorado's competition with with Texas Tech. Let me get some help with my guys at the PFF, I guess. Let's start off with PFF. We got a pretty good show today. So let's go ahead and start off with PFF. Let's see, Colorado versus Texas Tech. Let's go. All right, so what does it look like? If you, I don't know how many of y'all saw the game. What up, father of two, husband of one? Let's get started with the PFF. Let me put that on the screen, guys. Let's get right into it, because I want to start off the show. We got a lot to talk about, so I want to start off the show with the technical information at the top of the show, and then we kind of get into the more the fan conversation. One of my lights just go off. Yes. All right. Put my light back on. What's happening? Why my light going off? The light above my head is going off. I don't know what's happening with that. All right, guys. So write down that email. I'm going to take it off the screen. Join tlplive@gmail.com. That is the email to call in. And if you already called in before, use that same email to send me a shout out. I'll be like, yo, Harry B, send me the link, and I'll send you the link. But write it down. I'm going to take it off the screen pretty soon so that we can, as we get into the show, it obviously covers the screen while I'm doing other things. So go ahead and write that down, guys. Join tlplive@gmail.com. We're going to go ahead and get straight into the show. Before I get started, in honest, I want to thank everybody that joined me on my election coverage. I appreciate you. It was kind of like, out of pocket there. Yeah. So since then, I've stayed away from the news. So let's get into football. Let's go.
game. That is Colorado Buffaloes at Texas Tech Red Raiders, 4 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. And really, Dalton, the storylines to know is, can Colorado continue to put the pressure on BYU and Iowa State? Because I said it last week. Even though they're on a bye week, Colorado was arguably the biggest winner of Week 10 because 2 of the 3 teams ahead of them in the Big 12 standings, Iowa State and Kansas State, both suffered losses. Not only losses, in conference losses as well. Because of that, Colorado jumped Kansas State in the Big 12 standings, a team that actually beat Colorado, by the way. So if they're tied, Kansas State gets a tiebreaker because they beat Colorado. But now the Kansas State has 2 conference losses, and Colorado only has 1. Colorado now is above Kansas State in the standings, and Iowa State is now tied with Colorado in the Big 12 standings as well. So now they're going to face a team that actually beat Iowa State in Week 10 that they can thank in Texas Tech. And if Colorado can win that game and win the 3 remaining games they have this year, really has a great chance at being one of the 2 teams in the Big 12 title game with a playoff spot on the line, obviously, if you win that Big 12 title game. And obviously, Iowa State plays Kansas State at the end of the year as well. So stands to reason if Iowa State loses that game as well, Colorado pretty much gets into the college football playoff, or maybe even into the Big 12 title game, or maybe even BYU screws up and all of a sudden it gets to even more chaotic, honestly. So really, Colorado just continue to put the pressure on the other teams in the Big 12 right now.
I think, yeah, you're right. It's that first scenario I'm looking at with Iowa State there, because I do think there are some flaws on their team, and we saw them, we've seen them the last couple of weeks, really, and they've squeaked away with close wins. I think Colorado, obviously by the numbers, doesn't control their own destiny.
No.
But it's pretty darn close. If they sit there and win their last 4 games, it feels like one more fortunate thing happens to them. And I also don't know at the end of the year what the Iowa State tiebreaker might look like. The big thing that came from last week to me was Kansas State losing in a massive upset to Houston that got them outright ahead of K-State, because that's the big one. They'll lose the head. There's a clear head-to-head on that. They will lose that, right? That's the big one for me. I think, and Iowa State obviously losing to Texas Tech, it was always possible. Texas Tech is a pretty good team. It's possible Texas Tech could win this game, but Colorado, they don't control their own destiny, but they're not far from it. So I think they just have to keep playing one win at a time. And honestly, I think you could argue this is their toughest game left of the 4. Because the next 3, I believe, are Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. I think Colorado's better than all 3 of those teams. I think they're better than all 4 of these teams, but going down to Lubbock against an explosive offense like Texas Tech, that's a tough task. So this is going to be a fun game, honestly. And I think Colorado, they have a lot on the line in this game.
They really.
All right, so let's get into this. What's the probability of Colorado winning out? What is the probability of Colorado going? Because, okay, the thing that we're thinking about, I mean, it's a Cinderella story, or it's a happy, fun story. It's the warm and fuzzy story. But if you look at the thumbnail, the 4 teams that are left, those teams are not going to be laying down and saying, oh my gosh, I love the Colorado story. They're such a, darling team, and oh man, I want them to win. So let's just let them win. That's not going to happen, my guys. That ain't going to happen. Texas is going to come and play. All right, Utah is going to play. Kansas is going to play, and OSU is going to play. So what are the probabilities of Colorado winning out? TLP Sports Club, 8-4. That's our prediction, 8-4. Can Colorado win out? Give me a second, guys. I got to bring my charger close, because when I leave out of here, once the show ends at 1 o'clock, I got to go. I got to make sure my phone is charged. You know what I'm saying? So let me put my phone on the charger. So let me take this off the screen. Y'all see that on there? So what are the chances? Let's talk about this. Let me bring my guy on. Phil So Real, thank you for calling, and I appreciate you, my guy. How you doing today?
Man, I'm blessed, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know how to phrase this, and I don't know how to say this to make sure that I don't step on any toes, but to make sure that we are cautious about what's going on. Colorado has a great opportunity in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the time to be playing to take a play off, right? Like instead of you going a little hard, you may go like, you may want to do some arm tackling. This
And
ain't the
Harry,
time to do that, is it?
It's not at all, not at all. And the crazy part about it, though, Harry, is every game at this point for CU is pretty much a playoff game. And even if they win every game, they still may not even make the playoffs. So that kind of goes to show how like every play matters, every quarter matters, every practice matters, every game matters. Because, I mean, if it wasn't for the last minute score against Kansas State, they'd be undefeated in the conference and they would be in the catbird seat right now, right? But then you look at the flip side of it. Imagine if they had lost that Baylor game. If we didn't get that miracle at the end of the game, then they wouldn't even really have a chance right now. So every little game matters. So I hope they come out focused and ready to play. And it seems like they are just from some of the clips I've seen from Well Off.
Yeah, I mean, like Coach Prime stopped what where was on the street. Coach Prime stopped one of the practices because they were playing so well. I'm like, okay, I like that. Are these young men focused enough to come out there and understand what's at stake? Let's bring on Tim so he can join the conversation. Tim, Dallas is in the building. How you doing today, brother? I appreciate you calling in.
Hey, I'm doing well, Harry. How about yourself? And what's up, Phil?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be back talking football again. Leave that politics stuff alone. I'm gonna turn off the news I'm turning off the news for 4 years. So here we go.
Good deal.
So, yeah, man. I like my mental health, so I'm turning off the news for 4 years. But what is the probability of Colorado winning out? Like, I know you got your 10-2 you're trying to protect, but you know better than us how your Texas boys, how you do down there in Texas. What I saw when we watched the game together, guys, that quarterback was trash. But because he was trash in that game, doesn't mean that he's going to be trash in the Colorado game. What's your thoughts on that before we get really going?
Yeah, I mean, anybody can get beat any given Saturday if you don't come to play, or you underestimate anybody. We've seen that in the Houston game. So Texas Tech is going to come to play. They only got 2 losses in the conference. Kansas State got 2 losses in the conference. They hoping to give Colorado their second loss in the conference. So
those ones are going to be playing spoiler.
They're gonna be they trying to get in as well some type of way if they possibly can. So
they still have a chance. Yep.
They still have a chance. So with that being said, they're going to get Texas Tech best game. But I feel like the leadership that's on Colorado right now, in each individual room, says a lot. Not only that, the coaching staff, guys who've been in this position, you got, even though Jordan Seaton is a freshman, he's been in this position at IMG.
Facts.
With winning national championships. So they know. You got the leadership in the linebacker room. Travis Hunter, Shador, this their last year. They know what's on the line, and they've been put in these situations before. So therefore, I feel like Texas Tech will have to play a perfect game in order to beat Colorado. So I feel like Texas Tech has more pressure on them than Colorado.
So you don't think Colorado has to play a perfect game to beat Texas Tech?
I'm saying with the leadership that Colorado has and the hunger that they're showing, they're going to come out with a vengeance, man. They're not going to come out and play around knowing how well Texas Tech is. They're not going to sit around and play with Texas Tech. They're going to give Texas Tech more than they can handle is what I'm trying to say. So I feel like Texas Tech is going to have to play a perfect game based off their flaws. They got a quarterback that's, even though he can make completions, is when he's protected. He's not under pressure. So how to offset that? You bring heavy pressure, but you also be able to stop their run, because their offensive game run through their running back.
But Tim, can I jump in real quick? If you're gonna bring pressure on the quarterback, then you better get to him, because we know even the best secondaries will have holes in them sometimes, especially if the offensive coordinator can scheme up some good plays. So if you're going to send a blitz, you better get home, because I think Texas Tech has good enough receivers to get open and to get yards after the catch. The question goes back to what Harry, initially brought up, is, do we have faith in the quarterback? Based off of Iowa State, I would say no, but based off of the totality of the season, I think he can make enough good throws when needed if they're there.
Yeah, I think he literally he misses his receivers a lot.
But are you saying that based off of what you saw at Iowa State, or
Yeah,
are you saying that's what
no,
you've seen
no.
the whole season?
Based on what I've seen from that last game, that's indicative of like the type of quarterback he is.
I don't know, man. I'm never gonna judge a quarterback at their worst, because
you think that was his worst?
I'm okay. I'll put it to you like this: I haven't seen enough of him play this year to think that the game we saw last week is who they are. Is that a fair enough statement?
Okay, yeah, that is.
Or do you at least understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is. I'll take that. I understand what you're saying. But okay, y'all made a statement and said they're still trying to get in. Who's more likely to get in let's look at this schedule real quick.
Oh, I can break this down perfect for you, Harry. I can tell you exactly how Texas Tech can get in there.
You ready, my guy? And I wanted to say shout out to Tim. Tim seemed like he ready to go. So Tim, shout out to you, man. You let's go, Tim. Let's go. All
hey,
right.
Look, you said we got a hard out at once, so we got to bring it. We can't.
We got to be up at 5:59. We got to close out the show, and I got to be gone. So yeah. Right. But y'all on fire today. I like it. Let's go.
So the thing to remember is, when it comes to tiebreakers in any conference, the tiebreaker is first going to be head to head. Then it'll go to who's the top ranked team in that conference, right? Okay. So obviously BYU, they continue to be undefeated. They're in. Iowa State continue to be undefeated. They're in. Now, in order for Colorado to get in, just to keep it as simple as we can, Colorado has to win out, and we need Iowa State to lose one more game. Preferably, we can go and get Kansas State to lose to them. And even though Kansas State would have beat Colorado will be the higher ranked team. So they would get in over Kansas State. Now, Texas Tech needs a little bit more help, because I don't know how their tiebreaker situation is with who they've played or who they've beaten, because I don't think if they played BYU, they clearly lost to them. If they play Iowa State, they clearly lost to them.
Hey, Phil, I don't mean to interrupt you, brother.
No, you good. No, cool.
Did Texas Tech beat K-State?
Oh, you know what?
I got it right here. Let's put it up.
I think they blew out K-State, if I'm not mistaken.
That's why I got it up right here. So let's go.
Rich, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but I mean, it is simple. Control what you control and win out. But even if you win out, that still doesn't mean they're going to get into the conference championship. I'm just laying out a path for them to get there.
Wait, Tim, were you saying K-State?
Yeah, did Texas Tech play K-State this season?
It's not looking like it. No.
Okay, I made a mistake then. I was just trying to see who beat. Was that BYU?
That was BYU.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You were thinking BYU. It's all good. You were thinking BYU. So, but okay. So look, tell me about these two right here that you see highlighted on your screen. K-State and Texas Tech, right? Because they're both still trying to get in. They have the same conference record. Who's most likely to get in? It looks like it's going to be overall the 7-2 K-State, right? How does what?
Yeah,
what
because
is the
K-State
role
is ranked
for Texas
higher
Tech to get in?
Yeah, K-State is ranked higher. Now, if K-State beat Iowa State, well, Iowa State is
Mhm.
ranked higher than both of them. Okay, never mind.
But no,
So
no,
what
no,
is
no, no. But
what's the
Tim, but look,
probability of Texas
because
getting in?
Kansas State beat if Kansas State beats Iowa State, they'll have the tiebreaker
Right.
over Iowa State,
How,
and the
tell me
tiebreaker
the
over
road to Texas Tech getting in. What is
Colorado.
the tell me the road to Texas Tech getting in?
If they beat Colorado,
I mean, if you just looking at it,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
right? No, no, no. You got it. Go ahead.
Let me see. Texas Tech has what? 3 losses? No. How many losses they have in conference? 2?
Two.
Yeah.
They're 4-2,
Okay.
and K State is
Right.
4-2. Overall, they're
Right.
6-3.
Okay. So if Texas Tech beat Colorado, that puts Colorado at 4-2.
So that would be
In
3
conference.
teams tied at 4-2.
Right. And that will put Texas Tech 5-2, which they'll have 1 game over Colorado in conference. They beat no, Texas Tech. They have to run the table, but Kansas will have to lose. I mean, Kansas will have to beat Iowa
I got
State,
you, Tim.
and it will have to come down to those 2-loss teams. If all of them only have 2 losses, then you have to go into who was ranked higher, who beat who, and then they'll make their decision, if I'm saying it right, Phil, on who they're allowed to play BYU in the Big 12 championship, because I feel like BYU gonna run the table.
So just the way I'm looking at it, in order for Texas Tech to even have a chance to get into the conference championship, they're going to need Iowa State to lose at least 1 more game. They have the tiebreaker against Iowa State because they beat Iowa State last week. They're going to need to beat Colorado this week. They will have the tiebreaker against Colorado if both of them end with 2 conference losses because they beat them this week. They then also need Kansas State to lose another game, but they also probably going to root for them to beat Iowa State because that's the team that's most likely to beat Iowa State that's left on their schedule. So that would give Iowa State 2 conference losses. Texas Tech would have the tiebreaker over them. Colorado would have 2 losses. Texas Tech would have the tiebreaker over them. And then Kansas State would have to have a third loss.
That's
and
it.
then
That's it.
and
Phil.
then that would put them in.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's a lot.
It's
Hey,
football,
it
Harry.
can
Let's go.
happen.
This is what's gonna make November exciting. This is when football really matters, man. Like if you, bro, trust me, you're gonna see some. You're gonna see some ducks out there, but you're going to see some really good football being played across all the conferences starting this weekend.
Man, for number 5 to come back and man, a lot of things will have to line up. I mean,
Hey, it lined up. Is lining up for Colorado right now. We wouldn't have never expected Houston to beat Iowa State. I didn't.
Right,
but yeah, I don't know if y'all were paying attention when Houston was playing good football. I was paying attention. I say Houston looked like they're getting their mojo back or whatever they lost. It was looking like they were playing good football now. I mean, their schedule is not going to be indicative of how tough they've been in November.
Hey, Harry, can I give you the tiebreaker policy for the Big 12?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, so this is how it's going to go. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 7 different things they have to go through based off of what happens. So the first thing is you're going to look at tied teams will be compared based off their head-to-head record during the season. So again, if you're neck and neck with a team you've already beat, you'll get the notch over them. And then it goes on further. Tied teams will be compared on win percentage against all common conference opponents. So that's where it's going to start mattering. If you have 2 teams that have the same record, but let's say they have 2 losses, right?
Mm-hmm.
One team lost to Iowa State, another team beat Iowa State. Because that is their common conference opponent, the team that beat Iowa State will get in over the team that lost to them because they won against their common conference opponent. And then the third tier is top teams will be compared against win percentage against the next highest place common opponent in the standings. And then it just kind of trickles down from there. I will send you this document because it's a lot to read, but it's a lot going on. Let's just put it that way. It's a lot going on.
It is a lot going on. And so the scenario that let me put this on the screen because like we talked about not too long ago, some fan base is about to be like irate.
Pissed.
Somebody's fan base is about to be begrudging. This is not about. It's about to be a problem for someone. So let's look at this real quick. Let me bring Ron Tate on to the show. Ron Tate, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing today? I appreciate you calling in.
Hey, man. I appreciate being here. Good seeing and hearing from you guys. You guys are putting out a lot of good information.
Thank you, man. So let's break this down. Who wants to take the breakdown on this one? Who want to?
What is your
I
question,
can-
though?
Yeah, I was finna say one thing.
Yeah.
Does Alabama survive this 12-team playoff based off how they've been playing? I feel like they're gonna beat LSU this weekend. It's not gonna be easy, but I just feel like they are the better team, in my opinion. But can they survive the rest of the season? Like Phil was just saying, November is about to be crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
college
I put it to you
football.
like this. I think they can win every game in front of them based off of how they played this year. It's hard to tell, but I will give Kellen DeBoer the benefit of the doubt. And I'll just give the Bama staff the benefit of the doubt that they win out. And if they do, I don't think they'll be number 11. I think they'll be around that 9 or 8 seed because personally, I think Indiana could lose a game. I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State this year. And I also think Penn State could possibly drop another game this year. So I see them possibly moving up if they continue to win out.
So we just looked at the Big 12. All right. So the Big 12 has BYU, and
That's it.
I'm looking around and I see nothing else.
That's it.
Right? Okay. So that's it, right? Now we got which conference represents the most?
Oh,
I think
definitely.
the SEC.
So the SEC has
The SEC has 4: Georgia, Texas, Bama, Tennessee. That's 4.
See,
Who?
Tennessee up there.
Oh, damn. Okay, yeah, you're right about that. 1, 2.
You got 4.
oh, yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay, so 4. And then the Big 10 has Penn State. That's 1. Ohio State. That's 2. And then Oregon. That's 3.
all right. So who's gonna cry? Like what scenario you see a fan base crying? Let's say BYU drops 1, or let's say BYU goes and win out. They go to the championship and lose.
They're
That's
not going to make the 12-team playoffs if they lose in the conference championship game.
If Colorado makes it to the Big 12 championship and beats BYU, which I think that they can do, then I feel like you see BYU, you'll see Colorado.
So does that mean that BYU is going to be crying out, crying, or what?
Hey,
What happened?
Tim. Well, I got something to add to that though, Tim.
Huh?
So if you look at the actual college football rankings, while BYU is at the number 4 seed, BYU is the number 9 ranked team. So what that means to me is if they lose one game, they're not going to be a top 12 team. And that means if Colorado beats them in the conference championship, they're not getting in. But what is more interesting from some of the people I've been listening to is Boise State is the number 12 seed, but they're also the number 12 ranked team. If they continue to win out, there could be a situation where they would be the number 4 seed. And if there's a 1-loss, 2-loss Big 12 team, the Big 12 team will end up being whatever number they are. They won't get that automatic 4 bid. They'll still get in, but they won't get the automatic bye. So it's a lot going on right now.
Oh, so that means that Colorado would be left out.
No. If they win the conference, they're
Right.
in.
If you say
Period.
it like that, Bill.
But if
how can you
they
leave-
win the conference, they're in.
How can you leave
What-
out the number 4 seed if they lose the conference title?
Because they're the number 4 seed, because they're a conference champion based off of the projections. They're the
Right.
number 9 ranked team. So they don't think they're the 4th best team. They think they're the 9th best team. And if we, based off what we've seen, when really good teams lose to other really good teams, you don't drop that much. But when good teams lose to okay teams, which is what they have left on their schedule, you're gonna drop. They're gonna drop to at least 15 or 16 if BYU loses.
All right, so let's make this make sense, right? You got it. I know last year we had a 13-0 Florida team didn't make it. This year, you're telling me that BYU fans are going to be okay going on undefeated regular season and possibly losing the conference title and stay out of the playoffs.
Harry, with
That's
them
a
being ranked
possibility.
number 9 undefeated, what gives you confidence that they wouldn't drop more than 2 places if they lose? With them being ranked number 9 right now, being undefeated.
You said what gives me confidence that they won't drop 2 spaces?
Yeah. If they're already ranked number 9.
there is no confidence. I'm just saying, I'm just
Okay,
talking
gotcha.
from a fan's perspective, like how they're going to feel where your team, you kind of like, you cheer them into an undefeated season, but they just happen to lose that conference game. They should be
well.
considered, right? Because
Oh,
you
well.
got, if you look in the SEC, let me take this down. So let's look at the SEC real quick. Because some of those teams that are up there, they're not undefeated. So I guess
Again,
I
they're
guess
going to
we're
look
basing
at
that on competition.
look at strength of schedule, strength of record, things like that. That's what the committee is going to look at. And they're also going to always give the SEC the benefit of the doubt and say the SEC is the tougher conference. I think it is fair to say that the SEC is at least tougher than the Big 12. So it makes more sense for the SEC to have more teams up there. Now, there could be a situation where teams start to cannibalize each other. We'll see. It's November. But right now, I think we're going to get at least 3 to 4 SEC teams in, and we're only going to get 1 Big 12 team in.
I don't know if y'all remember the conversation we had, and we said a 10-2 Colorado that doesn't win the Big 12 has a possibility of getting in. What are the chances, the way that this is looking, that a 10-2 Colorado gets in? I think it's 0 to none.
Yeah, just based off of where they're ranked right now. I don't see them moving all the way up from 20 to number 12. I mean, like I said, it just has to be a lot of chaos.
I think after this week, if they beat Texas Tech in Lubbock, they're gonna jump up.
Where would you put them after
Right,
this week?
where do you see them ranking?
I believe the scheme is money. Colorado and the SEC teams will bring in a lot of money. So I really believe, I don't know where, but I think they will jump.
Well, Ron, let me ask you this: do you think they would jump ahead of Iowa State at 17?
If they beat,
Because I don't see them
Texas
getting.
Tech.
I don't see them getting higher than that.
Didn't Texas Tech beat Iowa State?
They did, but Iowa State is still only has 1 loss.
Right. So I think if we beat Texas Tech and Texas Tech beat Iowa State, then that
You're
would be
using
justification. Now, whether
the
it's strong
transitive property. I got you.
I'm just trying to figure out how they would be able to justify that using that scenario in order to, hype up the playoffs. I think they want maximum exposure for the playoffs this year. And they really want these media outlets clawing and scratching at one another, trying to get as many of the playoff games as they can.
But is that a reality? Is that something that you think is probable? Because
I really think it's probable, and I think you're going to be able to see. That's why I mentioned it. I think you're going to see it when Colorado beats Texas Tech, and you're going to see Colorado jump more than a couple spots.
More than a couple of spots. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. So that means that they're either going to be at 16 or 17.
Yes. Yes, in that range. That was my thought.
Does that mean that Ole Miss has to lose, or if
Well,
they?
Ole Miss is going to lose to Georgia today anyway, so they're going to drop. I mean, tomorrow, so they're going to drop.
Oh, so Ole Miss plays Georgia.
Correct.
Okay, and you don't think they're strong enough to beat Georgia because who?
No, and then if LSU
Florida
loses,
almost beat
they'll
Georgia.
drop as well. A lot of people almost beat people. NDSU almost beat Colorado. That don't change nothing. They still lost the game. So
No, but I guess the question that I would ask is,
you think just because the team almost beat somebody that makes that team not as good as they should have been?
No.
Because they should have blown them out.
I'm saying, okay, so who's stronger, Ole Miss or Florida?
Who's stronger? Ole Miss.
Okay, so if Ole Miss,
I got a question for you, Harry. Who's stronger, Alabama, or Vanderbilt?
Thank you, Ron. Perfect.
Who's stronger?
What year?
Shut up, Harry.
This year. Come on.
You know what,
you already
Ryan,
know the
Ryan,
answer.
I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for asking that question because I always try
It's
to get Harry
Vanderbilt.
to answer a question straight up, but Harry
God.
will never
No,
answer
I mean,
a question straight
most
up.
pundits-
So thank you.
Alabama is slightly stronger this year, slightly.
Yeah. Alabama is definitely stronger than Vanderbilt.
Well, you said that with too much confidence.
Well, I mean, they are. You look at
You said that with way too much confidence.
look at the strength of the roster. Not how Alabama screwed up that day, but look at the strength of the roster. You would say Alabama is clearly a better team than Vanderbilt. However, Vanderbilt beat them.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're saying because you know what happens. What seeps into our our thought about the team is the same thing that people do to Colorado. Your initial thought has to be with the last couple of years and how they've been playing. But if you were to just evaluate that question for a second, you'd be like, hold on now. Vandy's not doing that poorly this year. Vandy's a pretty solid team this year. So
They can still be doing pretty solid, and Alabama will be better than them, though.
No, yeah, but yes, but you still have to entertain the idea.
You're wrong, Harry. If me and Ron agree on something and you disagree with us, then you're wrong.
I'm just saying it was y'all too confident. Your confidence is like seeping out with that. Like, oh yeah, they're better. Like, and I don't know if that was based on this year or just the overall how they've been playing
this year. Ron, can
you honestly say that your bias is not from Ron? Oh no, he's still here.
No, that's Tim that dropped.
Okay, Ron, can you seriously say that there's no bias from prior years when you're judging Vandy? Like, there's nothing that seeps in there for you?
No, it's not. It's not me judging Vandy. It's my perception of Alabama. My perception.
But is that your perception this year only, or is it perception of the overall Bama's culture?
Well, when you think about Alabama, all of that plays a part.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think when you just hone it in on that very question, is Alabama stronger than Vanderbilt? Then you would say,
yeah, it's easy to just answer yes, because obviously over the years, if you look at Alabama's culture, who was there and then you can just easily just be confident and say, well, yeah, Vandy. I mean, Alabama, right?
Well,
but
I'm talking about this.
It wasn't that easy. You can't answer so confidently about that. You can't answer that question so confidently this year. Like, come on, give Vandy some credit now.
Yes, this year, and I'll tell you why. When you have humans picking these things, there's no way Alabama should be ranked where they rank as poorly as they have played this year. No way. But why did they do that? We know they're playing, but they're a good team, and that's the way the pundits are going to see it. I'm thinking, if Alabama loses one more game, what are they going to do?
They're going to drop They're going to drop 0.5 spaces.
Yeah. So I mean, how are they going to justify keeping Alabama in the 12-team playoff if they lose another game?
They won't. If they lose tomorrow night, I think. I mean, at worst, you might see them at like maybe number 20. But they're definitely going to drop. Like, people can talk Bama bias all you want to. Oh, they
Is it
want to.
Bama bias or SEC bias? Period.
But we're talking specifically about if Bama loses,
Oh, okay.
would they still be in? And I don't think they will, because I will say they will get the benefit of the doubt over other SEC teams. So I don't think it's an SEC bias. I think it's a Bama bias. But if they lose, they're not staying in the 12-team playoff. I can assure you of that.
I truly don't think they should be ranked as high as they are ranked now.
So
Only
what makes you
because-
think if they lose, they wouldn't go any further though?
I just think they shouldn't be ranked as high as they are now. And for
Right.
the playoffs, I mean, the coaches can have their opinion, AP, but we're talking about the championship playoff, the FBS playoff 12-team schedule. I don't think they should. They haven't earned it. They haven't earned it. The way they played this year.
So let me ask you this: with a team like TCU last year or Michigan in the years past, they've been able to have successful records and get into the playoffs while still only winning by a very small margin. So you can still be a good team and not play good football. You know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
I get your point, but
Right.
at the
And
end of the day,
that's what I'm
it's Bama and they only have 2 losses. It is what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying this year. Alabama hasn't played very well, but they are a good team. They could blow you out at any day. They could put 50 or 60 on you any day. But
So
they
let them,
just
let
have
them
not.
do it but they've been playing trash.
Yeah, they've been playing very bad. I mean, who do you put it on, the players or the coaches? I mean, they have the roster to whoop anyone in the country any day.
Hey, tell me if anybody else does this, right? You're not a college football fan, but every now and then you'll pick your head up when Georgia, Bama, Ohio State are playing and look at the score. This year, right? Like, I'm not an SEC fan, but every time I look up to see what Georgia's doing, what Alabama's doing, LSU's doing, right? And when I look up, every time I look up, Alabama is losing something. I'm like, what is going on? I said, what the heck is going on right now? They're getting beat by the worst teams, but yet they don't lose nothing. When it comes to the ranking, then you peek back at the ranking, and what do you see? Alabama right there in the top 12. I'm like, hold on now. Why other teams and conferences are getting punished? You can go freaking 8. You can be 8-0, lose one game and drop 3 spaces because of the conference you in.
Right.
If they don't feel you have a strong conference, you're going to get penalized for it. And as of right now, if we're going to be completely honest, the Big Ten and the SEC, I can't use that terminology. They the big sticks on the yard right now. So they're going to have more cachet. They're going to have more sway. They bring in more money.
That one, but go ahead.
So I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just telling you what it is. There's an SEC bias. There's a Big Ten bias.
Here's the proposal for college football. We talked about it a little bit offline. What if college football implements something where you cannot schedule your FCS teams, but to make sure that at least when we get to playoff season, that these games are fair? What if they are required to play Power 4? What if they are required to schedule at least 1 or 2 Power 4 to make sure that when we get to the season, when we get to the end of the season, that okay, at least you play. We have a small sample of Power 4 playing SEC, like Big Ten playing SEC, et cetera, et cetera. What do y'all think about that?
Are you talking about cross-conference playing?
Yeah, like Power 4 playing Power 4, but not necessarily just scheduling all of these soft outside of conference games with the FCS, but actually, college football implementing something to make sure that we get a glimpse of, in the beginning of the season, get a glimpse of the playoffs. Hey, CU fan, I saw you in the green room, but you clicked off. So come back on when you're ready. But what do y'all think about that? Would that work, or how does that look for college football?
So the issue is they don't have an official governing body, like a commissioner over college football. So each conference kind of has their own rules. So that's why Josh Pate always talks about being the commissioner of the college football. But like for example, the SEC, they have to play at least one group of Power 4 team out of conference every year. And they play a 9-team SEC schedule. So there are different conferences that have certain rules like that. But I agree. There should be a blanketed rule to say you should have 10 conference games, and then you have 2 non-conference games. One can be an out-of-conference rival that you have that's Power 4, and then the other can be just, another Power 4 team. But I also want to add, if we do that, then we need to get rid of automatic bids. I don't think just because you're a conference champion, you should be a top 4 team. I think it should honestly go based off of 1 through 12. And the group of 5 need to have their own playoff. They don't need to be involved with the big boy football.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's bring on CU Fan. CU Fan, how you doing today, brother? Thank you for calling. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Harry, I want to say this before, it goes anywhere. Hey, let me know when you do the next billionaire mindset, because I got a lot of stuff to say about what happened over the last few days. And I want to target specifically the so-called Christians and my Latinos, because yo soy soy centroamericano, and I want to talk to them in regards to it. So if you ever have, let me know, because I got a lot to say to them.
Got it. I got it. I will. Maybe I'll do something where you will be my guest and my special guest, and then we'll just have a chat and we'll talk about some things that you want to get off your heart. But
I appreciate it.
All right, no doubt. So, all right, so we're looking at this. Let's go. Let's talk about the competition. That's what we started off. Let's go back to the competition, and then we can we kind of did the show backwards on how I wanted to do it, but again, it's Free for All Friday, and you guys are excited. You got information. You're ready to go. So I was like, look, let's just do it. Let's just let it go. So let's get back to the competition and see how. Let's break down Texas Tech and where Colorado can exploit them, or possibly where they can exploit Colorado. Let's look at PFF first, and then you guys can tell me what you got.
Look at it right now. Texas Tech, you could argue, is maybe the best Big 12 team outside of the Big 4 of BYU, Iowa State, Colorado, and Kansas State. Right? Arizona State's up there as well, and so is Cincinnati and other schools like that. But Texas Tech, after beating Iowa State, they're a dangerous team, as you saw.
I think they have the most dangerous offense outside of the rest of those top 4 that you just mentioned, and that's really what makes it happen there.
So I got a question for y'all. Are we sure, right? Because this feels and sounds like UCF, where they're always dangerous until Colorado exploits them. Are we sure that this is going to be the best team? And I'm going to forgive everything they said preseason and all of that stuff, right? Are we sure that they are?
I think they are based off of what's left on the schedule. Yeah.
I think Texas Tech, their offense is dangerous. However, for CU, our defense, as far as the run game is concerned, has improved tremendously. So, their strength, Texas Tech, I believe, just like UCF, but CU defense, run defense, has continued to improve.
So, but okay. Go ahead. Who was that?
That was Phil. So I just want to say real quick. So here's the thing. Based off of what they're saying, they are the best team left on the schedule, just based off of the record. So this would be their toughest remaining game. That doesn't mean it's going to play out like that, but just based off of just the letter of what he said, I agree with it. I think Colorado is going to have success because Texas Tech is not that good of doesn't have that good of a pass defense, and they've already given up 300 yards, I think, 4 times this year. So I think Shedeur is going to be able to slice them up. But that doesn't mean that it still won't be a difficult game.
Are we still talking daddy ball, Quinlito? Are we still on daddy ball? I thought we were way off of that.
I mean,
but
they are a pass happy team, so they're gonna pass the ball. It's just when they pass the ball and they don't have no business doing it, that's when that daddy ball conversation comes up.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought we were just fine with it. Like, let them play. Like, if you're the best, right, regardless of who your daddy is, if you're on his team and you're the best, does it matter anymore? Like, how much does he have to prove? Go ahead.
I don't think we're talking about Harry. This is Ron. I don't think we're talking about Shedor's ability any longer. We're talking overall as a team, as they improved, and we all knew, as scheme-wise, if they ran the ball better, they would be better as a team, and it's proven. And Shedor's even mentioned it. You know, running the ball helps the passing offense. And
so what is Quinn Lito talking about? No daddy ball or padding stats. Are we even on that anymore?
No, that's a hate. He's not even in the closet. He's a straight up hater, and he doesn't know football.
Cause I mean, I thought we were way off of that. Like we done with daddy ball. Because at this point, like they know what makes them win.
Right.
I think they're locked in with understanding what helps us to win. And I think Shedeur knows that pretty well. So I don't know that daddy balls has been an issue, but let's keep going, guys. That's Quinn Lito, you on the island on that one, bro. You're gonna swim on the island by yourself.
Yeah, surrounded by sharks.
Don't let the piranhas get you.
Yeah.
So listen, Dolan, you actually have the opposing offense, so that is Colorado in this one. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and all they got there. So what should we be looking out for when the Buffaloes have the ball?
Okay, so sometimes I do all my deep dives and I sit around for 2 hours at a time looking at all sorts of complicated numbers and poring over end zone angles and doing all. Okay, now the obvious is the obvious here. Look, this is about Shedeur and the weapons against a Texas Tech team that has the 9th worst coverage grade in the country. They've allowed the most explosive plays in the country, the most 15-plus yard completions in the country, right? Last week, to me, was more about – and they held Iowa State to 22 points, give them credit. And I thought the middle of their defense played well. They prevented those deep shots down the middle that Rocco Becht wanted. Shedeur Sanders is a different animal than Rocco Becht. And Iowa State has 2 great receivers. You could argue Colorado, I think, has 4 of them, right? There's more weapons. It's a better quarterback who's not going to turn the ball over. He's only got 3 turnover-worthy plays all season. And I think the big thing for me is Shedeur. Look, this isn't check down Charlie. This is Shedeur friggin' Sanders, right? He leads the nation in passing grade with a 95.5 on 10-plus yard throws. This isn't just, he runs quick game and throws 5-yard outs all night. He makes big throws down the field. He's tied for 5th in big-time throws on 10-plus yard throws. He completes balls at the 9th highest rate. Like, this is on paper of any game we're doing here, there's not a bigger mismatch than Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter against Texas Tech secondary, which is giving up points left and right. They give up almost 35 points a game. I mean, and they just give up passing yards like crazy. Travis Hunter, in his own right, he's caught the 7th most 10-plus yard passes among all wide receivers, and he's 6th in receiving grade. You talk about a game where, look, if there's somewhere where you can bet overs on player props and stuff, it's Shedeur and Travis Hunter this week. Because whether they go down or not in this game, they're going to come out swinging for the fences, and they have every reason to believe that they can. If there's a game where Shedeur Sanders is going to come out and throw for 350, 400 yards, it's this one. All
right, so let's do this. Let's do it backwards. Ron, give me how the defensive coordinator listens to PFF and says, boy, you crazy because we about to shut that down. How did they shut this down?
They have to get into the portal during the bye week and get some faster defensive backs.
Come on, man. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
Harry, I'm being honest, man. Their defensive backs don't have the speed to stay with. They couldn't stay with the Iowa State receivers. They don't have the speed to stay or the quickness to stay with our receivers. They don't
it was
have
raining,
that.
Ron. It was raining.
No. I mean, I saw those guys.
You can't come.
I was like, my gosh, these guys. I mean, do they have someone with speed that they can teach to play defensive back? Because those guys are not. 5 yards, 10 yards. Yeah, I mean, they were with you when they had a chance to put their hands on you, or you ran a fade or something. But flat out, anytime the Iowa State receivers ran a go or anything on them. They were always playing from behind. And Shedeur is not going to miss those guys like that. He's going to find the weakest one and say, okay, Mr. Wester, give me a slant over the middle. Or Travis, your guy, man, I'm leaving him by 10 yards every time I head upfield. Okay, and they're gonna just pick on the weakest one, and then after the second half, they're gonna have their choice.
So so you're saying that this is the game that Shedeur goes for 400 or 500?
Yes, the scary thing is the running. They have an excellent running back, so hopefully, we can shut them down there. But their defensive backfield cannot, like the PFF said. I was thinking about that when I was watching the game. I was like, oh my gosh, it can't be. It just can't be this easy. So I pray to God that the guys play well, and the outside, our guys, our playmakers.
Hey, CU fan, do you agree with Ron Tate, or can you take a different angle from Ron Tate? Because he seemed to be the pom-pom, the panda for today. I don't know why he's trying to be the panda. I try to give him.
I tried it, man. I tried it, but you look at him, man. You know it. If you saw the game, man, those guys, they don't have the speed.
Hey, CU fan, do you? Can
help
you
me out,
give me a different? Yeah, don't help him out. Leave that.
No, I mean bring me back in.
Leave him on the island by himself. Please tell me
back in.
Tell me how that defensive coordinator from Texas Tech is going to say, "Okay, I see you, PFF. Y'all think we about to get caught on a poster and help that Cinderella story. Watch what I dial up on Saturday. What do you think, CU fan?"
Okay, so in one way, I agree with what you're saying, but you guys hear me?
Am I on an island by myself here?
No, in one way I agree with him, and in another way I don't agree with him. Okay, so if I'm the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech, the only way I'm going to be able to stop Shedeur Sanders is to send the house, because when you send the house, you'll be able to get him off his edge, because Shedeur is not a 3-step drop, pass. He's a hold the ball, try to find, and go out there and find his target. He will hold on to the ball too long, and that's the only way that they're going to be able to stop him. Because what's going to happen is
you should stop talking right now before they take any tips from you. Anyway, just go ahead.
Hey, Harry, and he's 100% correct, because they have to send 6, not 5. They have to send 6, 4 up the middle and 2 to keep him contained.
Go ahead, see
on the outside.
Finish your thought.
So then, in this perspective, what I'm because Texas Tech secondary is so bad, it reminds me of our first game that we have against NDSU, where Shedeur was dissecting them because they didn't have the defensive backs to control. Look what happened with a lot of our receivers. They were just getting yards after yards after yards. I believe that's what's going to happen if they can't get to Shedeur. If they do get to Shedeur, that would be a different story. But then our offensive coordinator should realize, hey, they are sending the house, so we have to change it up to a quick step or run the ball so they can get fooled. But in this case, I don't believe this is going to be a run game. I don't expect more than maybe 50 to 70 yards this game in rushing. I expect Shedeur going to dissect this defense and just eat up yards. This is a game that I believe he's going to have 350, 400 yards. I think he's going to really, this is probably the only one game that I'll agree to when it comes to okay, you didn't run the ball. It's okay to run that you didn't run the ball. But in this case, just because the defense, the secondary is so bad,
you're going to give him a pass. No pun intended. You're giving them a pass on the run or on the pass game.
This is the only time I'm gonna give them that pass. The only
not the
time.
He's saying it's because
CU
they have that
fan.
much of an advantage, Harry. It makes
Hey,
sense
Phil, but
because
this
they
is
have
not
that
the
much of.
same CU fan that came on the show blazing guns blazing, ready to fire Coach. This ain't the same guy. He's grown.
No. I still believe in a balanced offense. I believe that's the only way you can win championships. But in this case, Texas Tech is so bad defending the pass that I'm gonna dissect them. I'm gonna eat those yards in the air.
Okay. Hey, Phil, let me do you a little dirty, Phil, because y'all be riding dirty in the A. So I don't know if you live in the A or not, but you in Georgia
I
somewhere.
work in Atlanta, but I don't live in Atlanta. But go
Okay.
ahead.
But y'all still be riding dirty in the South. So
For sure.
let me do you dirty a little bit. Is this the game where you feel like, even though this is supposed to be our toughest team on the roster, on the schedule, that Shedeur can actually, like, it could be over by halftime?
I mean, just based off of what everybody said prior to me, I don't even understand why they're playing the game. Colorado should just stay in Boulder, and they should just automatically give them the W.
Hey, wait, are you doing that Phil thing?
Yeah, I am. No, okay, so let me be serious.
Okay, please.
I think there is a world where Colorado can get up on them early and kind of, coast to a win. But for whatever reason, I feel like it will be a tough match to start. And I think Colorado is going to pretty much, when I say lean, I don't mean like rely on, but just use the skill players they have that are so much better than Texas Tech's players. Mm-hmm. And that's going to kind of pull them on to a victory. So I think it'll be within a 1 to 10, I think it'll be from like a 7 to 10 point differential going into the half at most. But I think by the end of the game, I think you could definitely see Colorado winning by more than 14. But there's also like a weird world where, like you said, Colorado will lose a game they're not supposed to, where you can go out and see them lose, by a late, last minute field goal or something like that.
Hey, Tim, Colorado goes down 2 touchdowns. What's the outcome that you can see? Colorado goes down by 2 touchdowns in the first half. This is hypothetical. I'm not saying this happens. Hypothetically, right. Colorado goes down like some fluke way. This guy, this terrible quarterback with his terrible arm, is able to connect with his wide receivers, and they score 2 quick touchdowns. And all of a sudden, Colorado is staring down at the barrel, and it's 2 touchdowns down, and they're playing from behind. What happens after that?
Colorado goes in at halftime, make those adjustments that they've been doing all season, come out and play a better second half, and win the game.
Do you think that situation is that scenario is possible?
Yes.
How is it possible?
Because I feel like I trust Livingston. Not only that, I trust the offensive coordinator to make those adjustments. And if they down by 14 points, that means that Texas Tech just threw out their whole entire playbook in the first half. So you're going to see so much that you're going to really be able to make so many adjustments to give you the edge going into the second half.
Which one of y'all on this panel? Which one of y'all on this panel or on the chat see us talking about desserts, Chinese food? Who seasons the better food? Which culture has the best season? Which means that Colorado is going to be cruising and we're just going to be comfortable. Or do y'all see cardiac kids coming back alive? Like, which one of y'all on the panel, and how do y'all feel like this game is going to be? Just based on that that concept.
Hey, everybody season their food with Creole seasoning, and it's down here in the South, but it makes its way east, west, and north. So,
I think you're overrated, bro. I think Louisiana is the most overrated.
Man, pause, bro.
I want that beef.
Pause.
Y'all are overrated when it comes to seasoned food, bro. I don't know. I can't with y'all. Y'all gumbo. I ain't gonna. But anyway, that was not the question. What I said. How are we gonna feel? Like the pitch of the game, the momentum of the game, the feeling of the game. Tell me how y'all think we're gonna feel on this game. Are we gonna be sitting back talking about Louisiana's season, or are we gonna be like biting our nails, hoping that Shedeur can do it again?
Don't see. Here's my opinion on that. We'll be cruising only if we stop the running back, because the running back is good. I'm not talking. He's not. What's his name? Gibson. He's not Gibson caliber. Giddens. I'm sorry, Giddens. He's not a Giddens caliber, but if we give him the opportunity to run and not stop it, it could be a game where they control the entire game on the ground if they continue. And
I have a little bit of pushback to that.
Okay, but then, so if we do stop the run game, our secondary is good enough to stop whatever pass that they have, and we can control the game. Now, I understand our defense is good at the run to stop them, but if we give them the opportunity, because we saw in many games, we don't know what Texas Tech is going to come out in until we see the game. Their tendency, look, it reminds me of NDSU, where they came out with different packages that really just ran through us. And it's the same thing with K-State. They ran through us. Giddens was a very patient running back, and he was ramming it down our throat. If we cannot control the pace, if we cannot control their run game, then we may have a long game where we're going to be chomping out our nails, because they're not giving us the ball back. If Shedeur does not have the ball, then we're going to be put in a position that we may not be able to win the game.
Just
all right, Tim, what's your pushback?
Okay, my pushback is Texas Tech running back, to say that he is not a DJ Giddens, their names are different. That's the only thing that I can say.
You think so?
Man, what?
Didn't you watch that last game, or you said that last game was a throwaway?
Go back and throw that game away. Go back and look at this kid highlights throughout the season. We talk about patience with DJ Giddens, right? He's a patient a patient running back. He'll wait for the hole to develop. If the hole is not there, mark my word, he will bounce it out. So our edge rushers is gonna have to protect the edge. So, and he's heavier than DJ Giddens. So that physical aspect of it is gonna be all game from him. So that's not try to say that he's not DJ Giddens. He's just a mediocre running back, because he's not. And we'll see that display on Saturday.
He's not a mediocre running back. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm saying he's not the caliber of Giddens. What I'm saying is that he's good enough to really be a concern to us if we allow him to be.
Yeah, I think two things can be true at the same time. He's maybe not a DJ Giddens, but doesn't mean that he's not an effective running back, which we have to be prepared for. Let's play a little bit more of this.
This Texas Tech defense, there may not be a team with a bigger divide between their offense and their defense right now than Texas Tech, because their offense is pretty darn good, especially when Baron Morton's not turning the ball over. But this defense, I really believe, for as much as they did pick off Rocco Becht a couple of times, I thought last week's game was more about Iowa State losing it than Texas Tech winning it. And I'm not trying to discredit anybody. Texas Tech won the game. They earned it. That last drive from Morton and Brooks and all that was great. But Texas Tech had plenty of opportunities, especially down in the red zone. I went over how they didn't finish drives. They had plenty of opportunities to score 40, 45 points in this game. And I think Colorado should feel the same way, that they could do that just like almost every other team this year has done.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's definitely a mismatch. And, the obvious matchup on the other side of the ball is Taj Brooks, their running back, who's their star running back, against Colorado's run D. But I want to go to something different on that side of the ball.
Make sure you smash that like button, guys. Let's get more eyeballs watching. Please smash the like button. If you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, especially if you appreciate the content and what we're bringing on the panel, guys. Let's keep it going.
It's can Colorado get after Baron Morton? Because while Taj Brooks is the star of their offense, I'm not denying that. It may surprise a lot of you to find out that right now Texas Tech is 105th in how often they run the ball this year. They're 105th in the country. They run the ball about 40% of the time right now. So Baron Morton is relied on for like 60% of their plays. And if you look at his splits, he's a vastly better quarterback when he's kept clean than when he's under pressure. His 86.3 passing grade when he's kept clean is over 50 points higher than when he's under pressure. His passing grade under pressure is a 35.9. But luckily for him, Texas Tech has a really good pass blocking offensive line. Right now, they're 9th in the nation in pressure rate allowed at about 22%, and they're 13th in the country in pass blocking grade at 82.8. And really, the one real weakness, I would say, of Colorado's defense so far this year has been his pass rush, which has been kind of up and down. There's some games where it's really good, but most of the time it's been not as great. Right now, they're 88th in pass rushing grade this year. They're 56th in pressure rate at 32%. And they try to make up for that, obviously, by blitzing a lot. They blitz at a top 25 rate in college football at about 43%. But if you look at Baron Morton, he actually has a higher passing grade against the blitz at a 76.6 than against a standard rush at 72.1. So that's kind of rare. You see often a lot.
So how do we get to the quarterback, Tim?
I feel like we get to the quarterback by our linebackers in this game. And the reason that I say that, you bring in Tyler Brown, you notice that they got him on the defensive side of the ball, right?
Wait, Tyler Brown is on defense now?
Yeah, they
I saw something about that, but I don't know that whole deal. So can you explain that a little bit?
Well, Tyler Brown, he played defense back in high school as well. So they kind of working him out because he is one of the strongest players on the team. So if what PFF is stating, put a Tyler Brown in there along with a Shajozi to get that pressure, that push up front, which allow your linebackers to get in there and try to make create habit on the quarterback. So having Tyler Brown on defensive side of the ball with his strength to just bull rush, that's gonna allow lanes for the linebackers to blitz the quarterback.
So okay, hold on. Real quick. Let's just divert a little bit. What does Tyler Brown being on the defense what does that do to his NFL
Harry, he just needs to be a grad assistant at Colorado next year. He's not going to the NFL.
But no. We gotta talk about that.
He's not going to
his draft rankings? What does that do to his ranking for the draft? His draft, what's the name?
He would be a great practice squad player that's going to go out there and give it his all and do everything he can do to make his teammates better. He is not a player that's going to be a difference maker on an NFL roster, respectfully.
Yeah, respectfully, like I agree with him. Tyler Brown, great person, everything. But on the NFL level, I don't think he's drafted. I'm not sure if he'll be invited. But if he does make a roster, or not a roster, but a practice squad, it would be just a practice squad.
That's all we're giving him? That's all we're giving Tyler Brown?
I agree with him making a practice squad and maybe possibly working his way up onto the field. But as far as getting invited, I can't see it. But
that's okay too, Harry. Everybody ain't got to make the NFL.
Not if your dream has been the NFL forever.
And 3% of college football players make it to the NFL, Harry. Somebody ain't gonna make the cut. So that means everybody on Colorado ain't going. That means everybody on Bama ain't going. Everybody on Ohio State, Oregon, all the other teams ain't going. It is a very select few people that make it to the NFL. So I wish him the best, but I just don't see it happening. But he's a great person, and I think he should be a grad assistant next year.
He has a great smile.
I would like to say this about Tyler Brown, though. If Tyler Brown is listening, don't be discouraged of what we're saying. We're just people that are talking. It doesn't mean that's what it's going to happen, because Deion Sanders has said so much to you to encourage you and do what you need to do to be successful. But sometimes we're put in situations where we have to, grow from the bottom up instead of being from the top to already. And so in this case, if you do make it only to the practice squad, there are many, many NFL players right now that were from the practice squad that are playing right now, that in the NFL, they have a roster spot and are good at what they're doing.
But you're talking like he's listening to you, though. Like, I'm not saying
there could be someone that can.
You said
be the
listen
messenger.
to it.
He's not going to listen to you as far as like if y'all think that he can't do something, like that's your opinion.
But a messenger could be listening. I mean, all I'm saying is that there could be someone that could relay the message. Hey, these people are
I'm not
talking.
saying it from that standpoint. I'm not saying it from that standpoint. Like he's not hearing you, because TLP is one of the hottest shows on the internet. So don't worry about that. I'm saying,
Hey, I like it.
I'm saying he's not going to listen to y'all telling him that he's not NFL material. Like he ain't.
Nor should he. Nor should
Right.
he.
Like
Nor
he ain't
should
like
he.
sitting over there like crying because some guys are saying, "Oh no, he's just." Because I think what the Texas truth is saying, Tyler Brown is going to run a 5. He's going to run a 5 on the 40, right? He's gonna do those bench presses, and somebody's going to see that. Then they're going to go to the tape, and they're going to see that he's workable and he's a serviceable guy that they're gonna pick up and try to work him out in different positions and see where they can fit and to help their team win. So it is a possibility. There is a path.
Listen, I hear all that in the Texas truth. He may have a lot of measurables and can put up good numbers, but how much real game footage do they have to look at as well with him, especially with him not playing last year, and now he's lost his offensive starting position, and they're moving him to defense and try to help him out to get on the field. I just don't see
late
it.
in the game.
He may not. You know what? He can end up on the team, but I just don't see a world where he gets drafted. I don't see him being the top, whatever number of people that is after the 7th round getting drafted. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, because it's kind of late when they have to make this late move to put somebody on defense that have been playing offense their entire career, and then in your senior or your senior year, where NFL scouts are supposed to be looking at you to make a final decision. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. It was different when Bishop
finally
was doing it, because he was doing it at the beginning of the season. You know what I'm saying? It was more like, hey, he's gonna play defense, so that's what side of the ball he plays on. But when we had this goal line package, we're gonna put him in at fullback. That's a totally different situation than now Tyler Brown. The half of the season is over with. There's only 4 more weeks left in the season. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's drastic, but
you don't think they'll pull the JSU tape?
Again, they will pull the tape, but what I'm saying is,
what are they going to see
because of last year and because of this year, they just don't have as much tape, especially tape against quote unquote tougher opponents, because they're in the because he's in the group of 4 now. Jackson State is going to get respect if he does a good job, but we know they're not going to look at that quality of competition the same way they're going to look at it if he actually played all last year in the Pac-12 and played all this year in the Big.
That's a
Big
big
12.
fact.
So he has to piece out. He has to score high for these next couple of games for him to even like be considered. Because I think
he would have had to have dominated his position.
And if he dominated, he wouldn't be getting switched to the other side of the ball.
Exactly. So
no.
He would have had.
I'm saying, what if he dominates for the last 4 games? They put him on defense and he dominates and he scores high on the PFF grades, or people start looking at him and he's dominating. Is that a good sign for him to
yeah,
say?
It could be.
Oh, okay. All right. So
it depends on what these NFL teams
are looking for. Right.
Yeah,
Harry, can you just say this? I like Tyler Brown. I think he's a good guy. I want to see him be successful, because it sounds like that's what you really just want to happen, and that's okay.
So look, this is where my mind is at. When Tyler Brown was coming to Colorado, the content creators, we made a big deal out of it, and he was supposed to be this big stature that was going to help our line to succeed, because I don't know if he's bench pressing so much, his IQ was high. There was a flair around Tyler Brown being on Colorado's team. So when I'm looking at it, I always look at those little nuances and say, well, what happened? What changed where we saw this guy with this big stature and then it kind of decreased? What happened?
Can I answer that?
And I'll shut up.
Can I-
I got your answer and I'll shut up. It's real simple. The treatment that Tyler Brown got was the same treatment that a lot of other people got that transferred into Colorado that didn't turn out to be so well.
That was my point right there. What I was trying to my point is similar to that.
The Pom Pom Kings were
no. There's no. I'm by far any of Pom Pom King. But what I'm trying to say is, look.
No.
One of the things that I did,
the content creators who were pom-pomming like us, like a bunch of the content creators, we were on a hype train for no reason.
Okay, maybe to a point. What I was trying to say is, look, Tyler Brown, the thing that I didn't like what happened with the offensive line this year, especially at the beginning. People were not established, except for maybe a couple or so, in the right positions. And they put Tyler Brown at tackle. Didn't look good at tackle. Then they moved him to guard. Well, he was so used to playing tackle that his miscues, because he missed a lot of blocks coming down on a lot of those stunts. So to me, it's like it kind of messes with you because so you understand when. And again, I'm not a college player level football player, but I played high school, and my position was offensive line. And my best position that I played was guard. And I studied guard more than I studied any other position. Could I fill the other position? Absolutely, because I knew everything. Now, I don't know what exactly happened to his psyche or what this perspective, but I understand the position to a point where it's like when you put someone else in a different position that you're not used to, and you try to develop that position, it's hard because the blocking scheme is different. The way you block it is so much different than it is if you were a center or if you're a guard and you were a tackle. Different blocking scheme, and you have to attack it completely different. And to me, that affects it. It affected me a lot when I had to be moved to a side because trying to understand someone that's faster, someone that's stronger, it's so much different. And in Tyler Brown's perspective, I think that moving him around dropped him to a point where he didn't know what to do exactly. And I understand it's a whole complete level when it comes down to the college area, but it messes with your head. I could tell you that 100%. Playing the position that I did.
So Tyler Brown, he has eligibility. He did say that he was going to apply for grad school. So I say, hey, if they're going to try you on defense and you think you can do better on the defensive side of the ball, then spend your 1 year as a grad player and wreak havoc at the defensive side and try again in the NFL draft. That's how I see it.
Why not? Don't give up on your dream, man.
Don't give up.
Hey, no, the text is true, man. Keep Bama name out your mouth, by the way.
It can be done, though. If you look at many players switch, okay, Warren Sapp went from tight end to defensive tackle. I mean, it can happen. So if one area of your college career doesn't work, try a different one and make it happen. If your mindset is
4 years, so 4 years to 1 year, your tape is going to look crazy.
Hey, I can say this. Devin White, who played for Houston Texans, in high school he was a running back. But when
you only bringing him up because he went to LSU hair.
Yeah, that's the only reason. You know what I mean? You know, I gotta represent. But
well,
anyway.
Jaden Daniels is a commander. He's a so You
Yeah,
should be
but
cheering for the Commanders too.
no. Stop, Harry. What I'm gonna say is he was a running back all the way through high school, but once he did get to LSU converted him into a linebacker. They seen something that everybody else didn't see because we was wondering like, man, y'all crazy. This kid over 200-pound running back, like he's solid. I mean, what do y'all see that we don't see? And it panned out that he's a better with his speed and his size and his physicality, he was a better linebacker than he was a running back. And the linebackers what got him into the league. Running back would have got him into the league. So having Tyler Brown switched off to defense, and if he does come back as a grad student, which I would suggest based off of how this year played out, that may give him that extra time to put together defensive film to get him into the league if he have a desire to go to the league, because everybody that plays football doesn't necessarily have a desire to play in the NFL.
Great point.
But okay, so X-Man, Tyler who is TC? I don't know the acronym. Tyler Brown is assistant because TC is injured. We need someone big to be in the front center next to the black bully. Who's TC? I don't know the acronym.
Is it Tafik Cohen? Is that who you're referring to?
Carter the third.
Terrence Carter. Okay. But here's the thing though, why would they need Brown to come in when they got Anquan Barnes? I don't see why they would need him to start. Maybe just as a depth piece, but if he's going to be playing significant minutes, then that makes me think that the defensive line wasn't as deep as we thought they were.
This ain't the time for us to start going backwards on the defense. But anyways, let's get the second part of this. Let's get the numbers on the second part, and then we can go into the last part of the show. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. You guys are killing it right now. Thank you so much. And you guys in the chat too, I appreciate y'all.
At times that a quarterback is better when he's not blitzed than when he is blitzed. Baron Morton has actually been better when he is blitzed versus when he's not blitzed. So yes, I'm not denying that Colorado's secondary wise is more talented than what Texas Tech has in terms of its receiving core. But there's only so many secondaries that can cover for a long time before somebody gets open, right? So that's definitely what I'm looking for in this game. Is obviously, yes, Taj Brooks, you got to stop that guy. He's obviously the star running back for them. But also, you got to get after Baron Morton as well, because if not, he could have time back there and then not commit as many turnover-worthy plays that we've seen from him in the past.
No, I agree. And I think there's a couple other things that I want to go over here. One, a matchup I really like in this game is in this slot where Texas Tech's best receiver, Josh Kelly, works in there. He had a huge game last week, right? Working against Preston Hodge in there in the slot. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm always curious to see where Robert Livingston goes with the coverages, right? It's something I've talked about almost every time we've done a Colorado game is it more man this week? Is it more zone? Is it one high, two high? Here's a fun stat I just had to pull up while you were going over all that. Against man coverage this year, Baron Morton, 45.4 passing grade.
I was just going to say that.
So you just...
So Colorado's DBs, not DBs, but Colorado's corners, How are we seeing Travis, or how many snaps are we playing Travis, and do we preserve Travis in the game, or we just let him lose? Is Travis being Travis this game? How are we using Travis this game?
It seems like Deion is going to let Travis determine what Travis does, unless he has to protect him from himself. If there's a situation, it wasn't the CSU game. It was one of those games he didn't play the second half because he was coming off of that arm injury. I think outside of that, if Deion doesn't have to protect Travis from himself, Travis is going to play as much as he wants to, because it seems like they have that understanding. And if Travis knows his body, I know he's a dog. I know he's 1-on-1. It seems like he knows his body. He knows when he needs to take one or he needs, stay in the game. So I think they're going to let him keep doing what he's been doing.
So a healthy Travis Hunter plays this entire game, plays all 130-some snaps.
That's still a lot of snaps being played, man. I don't like
that
it,
is
but
a lot.
If he can do it, God bless him.
That's a lot of snaps. Who's the better quarterback, Shador or Ward?
We can say Shador and just keep it moving.
Why are we keeping it moving? Why is Shador the better quarterback?
I think Shador is very poised. I think both quarterbacks are very good quarterbacks. I think they have a lot of poise. I think Shador gives you a little bit more of the cerebral part of it, like the mental part of the quarterback position that I think will help him get a little bit further in his career. Where I think Cam is just more physical talent than I think Shador is. And I know, yes, I'm basically kind of saying Shador is smarter than Cam, but it's not like a slight at him. I just think Shador understands the way defenses work better, and that ultimately makes him a better quarterback. But it's not, I don't think it's a drastic difference. I don't think it's a Peyton Manning versus a Rex Grossman. You know what I mean? I think they're still neck and neck, but I think Shador is better.
What about you, Tim? Who do you think is the better quarterback?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Cam Ward, Shador Sanders. Who's the better quarterback?
I agree with everything Phil was just talking about. I'm gonna go with Shador, and the transition into the NFL, the type of quarterback style that Shador brings versus Cam. And this is based off of a good offensive line. This is what I'm basing this off of, because they can go to a sorry O-line and they can make them look like crap. So as far as poise in the pocket, the ability to throw on the run, they both showcased it, but Shador is a little bit more strategic. His ball placements is, in my opinion, a little bit better than Cam, even though he can thread the needle as well. But I think Shador would be the better quarterback.
So the Texas True said that Cam's style is going to get him destroyed in the NFL. Do y'all believe so? Do y'all think so?
I don't agree, but I understand where he's coming from with it.
Yeah. That's to say the same thing about LSU quarterback that went to
the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, that went to Washington and
why is it hard for you to say Washington?
I don't like Washington, bro. But
I think that's how we feel about Louisiana seasoning.
Yeah, I agree. If we put it in that perspective, but you can say that his style in college, he ran a lot more in college versus here. You seeing a lot of, even though he'll run when he have to, but you seeing his game in the pocket a lot more. You seeing that on display a lot more than him using his feet like he had to do in college. So I think Cam, he can throw in the pocket. It's not like he can't throw in the pocket. So if he go to one of the sorry teams, he may have to use his legs a lot more than his arms. So
who,
yes,
Shador or Cam?
Either one of them. So
yeah,
he can get him killed.
I got a different question to pose that's specific to Colorado.
Okay.
If you don't mind. So what happens if Colorado loses tomorrow? I personally don't think they're going to lose another game this year. But if they lose tomorrow, how does Deion make sure the wheels don't fall off like he did last year?
I think that question is in the back of people's minds. But I'm on 8-4. I think a good season that Colorado can salvage its season, make sure we get quality recruits, is 8-4. Anything below 8-4, and people might say the wheels fell off again. So I don't want that conversation to brew. I don't want it to happen at all. Because the one thing about sports talk that I don't like is winning is everything. I really hate that. I don't know. I really, really hate that. Because there are ways, just like Phil, you always asking me what is two times two. And the reason why it's tough for me to answer that question up honestly is just because I feel like there's more to it than just, oh, you won or you lost. Because I feel like
I agree.
All of the people that are saying all this great stuff now, they don't feel that way. The only reason why they're saying what they're saying is because they're winning. And that's always dangerous.
I don't know, Harry. I think some people really are coming around and have belief in CU. I think some people really are believing in CU, and I'll be honest, I'm one of them. I have a lot more faith in CU than I did at the beginning of the season. They're playing good football.
The feeling that you're getting is because they're winning. I'm the type of guy, the way that I like to just think, and I live in this way. It's like, okay, I want that to be there for you to have that belief in them as they grow, as they figure things out, as they try to make sure that they're putting, things in the right places. But I feel like they don't get no chance. So if Baylor goes another way, right? If UCF comes out and smacks us, then Colorado is not what you're saying that it is. So I don't like everybody saying Colorado is this, Colorado is that.
We can only go based off of what we've seen, though, here. We can't go off of what ifs. Now, the what ifs is for the future, but what has already happened? Okay, let me ask you this: is Colorado's record
winnings is the only thing the only reason people are now feeling like the way they feel, like a lot of the commentators and people coming around, is only because of winning.
Harry, let me ask you a question. Your faith in the Most High is based off of what He's done for you in your life. Amen. So their faith in CU is based off of what CU has done this year. And if anything changes, then they will judge it based off what has happened. It's just like people got respect for Bama because they saw them consistently win and win and win and win. And so Bama got that benefit of the doubt. And that's just how it is. When people see something and it continues to happen, they have more faith in it because it becomes more predictable then. People like predictability. And if it's predictable that Colorado is going to win, they're going to ride on it. Pause.
I feel like if a team is building, and this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. If a team is building, right, especially a team like Coach Prime's teams, because there's no way to get around the Deion tax. No way. The only way that Coach Prime could have gotten around the Deion tax is just winning, and which is right now is why we're having this good feeling about Colorado. But I felt like, hey, what happened to the 4-8 season? How come we couldn't extrapolate anything good from that 4-8? It was just like, oh, the wheels fell off. I feel like the wheels didn't fall off, because if the wheels fell off, then there's no way you're putting it back together that quickly. The wheels didn't fall off. It was just a progression. It was a process. So it's like, oh, the wheels fall off, but this year they're winning, and oh my God, they're great again. No, it's like, no, it's a process. Have grace, have peace, sit back and relax and let it build. You brought up my faith, right? If I pray for something and God doesn't make it, and it's not a yes question, it's not a yes answer, I'm mature enough now, because I used to cry and pout and whine like everybody else and say, God, why are you not doing this? But now I sit back and say, okay, I know you're doing something up there. I know the reason why I had to go do X, Y, and Z. I know what you're doing now. So I kind of sit back and I enjoy the process. But I feel like all these Johnny-come-latelys that are heaping praise, Coach Prime is right where he says the fan only blows when you're hot.
It's hot, right.
I don't like that about sports, because you got to give people grace to figure things out. In our society, we see and we give people, like people who have money, like Diddy, all these other people, like pastors who who got these big congregations. What we do is we see that as success and we give them the platforms and we say, oh, you are important. Come speak at my organization. You are important because you're winning. But I'm like, that's not how I judge things. There has to be character. Can there be character, Tim, when you're losing? I feel like character can be there when you're losing. Because when you do lose, this is where your character really shows. And it's always been there, but I feel like people don't really see things when you're not doing this. You don't put on this mask for us humans. Tim are you there, Tim?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you just answered the question for me. You asked the question and answered it.
Oh,
But-
okay. Well, I mean, but is that how you feel? Like, do you walk that way? Because I feel like I don't like when people are just not moving in a way that is authentic. Because you can't tell me that it's authentic if you're judging just everything about wins and losses. If everything has to do with wins and losses, then that means the glitz and the glam is what you're judging. You're not necessarily judging the underbelly. You're not judging the character. You're judging the outcome.
Right. And we talked about Tyler Brown earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I use him as an example. His spirit that he walks around with each and every day. Even though he has a desire to go to the NFL, speculating, but if he doesn't, he's still going to walk around with that same smile. He's still going to have that same joy that we've been seeing each and every year. Even when he was going through his trial and tribulations, he was still smiling. So if you only like y'all say, only time the fan blows when you hot. That's how majority of the world is or has become. So I don't necessarily see it as
Go ahead, Phil.
Muted, Tim.
Yeah, he's
But
muted.
no, but I can jump in because I got a few things to say, and I'm gonna make them quick as best I can, and try to remember everything. But so I think what you're having like a deeper conversation than football, because I think when it comes to sports, the masses are only gonna care about wins and losses, right? But
Okay.
then when you start to drill down closer to the team, that's when the little nuances of like, hey, we were 1-11 last year, we went 4-8, this year. Yeah, the wheels fell off, but we still improved, right? So you're going to have a lot of situations where people inside the building can kind of feel that change and see the energy changing. You see people within the conference, some of the conference pundits may notice it a little bit more. But then when you get to the mainstream, they're not going to focus on that as much because that's just not what they do. So you have to drill down closer to the team to really see somebody give a perspective about what's changing internally. Right? So, for example, like, we talk about Josh Pate here sometimes. He's been high on Texas Tech for a while because of some of the rumblings that's been going on internally. But if you look at them based off of their record, they still haven't gotten there yet, right? So I think that's kind of where we're looking at it when it comes to CU. And then my last point is you're saying that people are changing their tune now. Let me ask you this. Do you have more respect for a person that can admit they're wrong, or is going to sit there and continue saying that, no, the sky is green when the sky is blue? Because for me, I have much more respect for Paul Feinbaum that can say, hey, Deion Sanders is doing X, Y, and Z, than I have for Jason Whitlock, who was still on the hate Deion train, when at the very least Deion is 6-2. We got to give him that credit.
I think I hold people accountable based on how they judge things in real time. That's how I hold people accountable, because I'm reaching deeper. I'm reaching for a deeper understanding of, I don't know if I can give you all the respect that you deserve, that you think I should give you, because I can't respect somebody who just looks at the glitz and the glam and make their judgment based on that. It's hard for me to respect that person.
it all depends on where your value system lies. So if the quote unquote glitz and glamour is something that you do not care for, that is going to be something that you hone in on. Just like if, I don't know, insert Dion being a Christian with her, right? If somebody likes it about him, they will focus on that to say good things. But if somebody doesn't like the fact that they have rappers in the locker room, that's what they're going to focus on. So it just depends on where your value system is. So everybody's not going to look at it the same way as you. But at the very least, people in real time are saying, hey, Colorado was a lot better than I thought they were. And I think we should give them at the very least some respect to say, hey, acknowledge the fact that Colorado is doing a hell of a lot better than we thought they were. At least give them that credit. And if we can't have that conversation, then I can't respect you as a pundit. And most pundits are still able to admit that Dion is doing a really good job this year. Colorado looks like a good football team. The ones that can't admit that, I ain't got time for them.
I mean, I'm cool. Either way, life is going to be lifing. Life is going to do whatever it does, and sports entertainment is going to be sports entertainment.
That's a word.
You know what I'm saying? So all of that stuff is going to happen. Stephen A. Smith is going to be Stephen A. Smith. People change their minds, but I often look at people, and I look at you, and I look at your soul, and I say, you are one person that is not settled inside of your soul. Because you can't, because you're, okay, listen to this. When somebody says, when people go, oh my God, she sings for Kirk Franklin. This is what I think now. The same Kirk Franklin that was grinding on that lady singing on stage at a Christian concert, that Kirk Franklin, that I'm supposed to be excited for you being a Kirk Franklin, being a backup singer for that Kirk Franklin. How I interpret that is not a win for you. I interpret that as a loss for you because I'm looking at it from a lens of, oh, so you're thinking that guy that's potentially lost his way is still valuable enough because society put him on a pedestal. That's how I'm looking at it. So now, if we just bring it all back down and say, okay, let's look at Colorado now. Hey, look, they're winning. And now all of a sudden, now you're telling me you weren't capable of setting aside your bias for whatever bias you may have had. It could have been the Dion tax. It could have been his bravado, whatever, whatever it is. You couldn't set that aside for a second and just look and see what was in there and make a proper judgment.
But Harry, predictions can be wrong. If somebody honestly looked at it,
no. I'm not talking about. I'm not at the level of prediction because if this conversation I'm having is not about predictions, right? It's about your assessment of the team. Not a. Oh, they're gonna win 4 games. Not that. That's shallow.
Okay.
That's on the surface. I'm talking about some of the visceral things that were said about Colorado. Some of the mean-spirited things that were said that we argue over here on this channel, and it was said like, oh, okay, you can't say it was hate, it was X, Y, Z. But I'm like, okay, now that changes, and everybody's like, oh yeah, now Colorado's good, and it's only based on the fact that they're winning. But you can argue that was always there, and they were building on that. It was there, and
but we never know.
That.
We can only make assessments
That's
based
true.
off of what we see and how we place certain value on things, right? So just like last year, when people weren't very high on like believing in the transfer portal, they didn't think Colorado was going to be as successful. People still thought they were going to be better this year. People, they talked about the circus and all that kind of stuff. But for me, just general assessments, I don't think it was as much hate out there as you think it was. There may have been people who said something quote unquote negative about Colorado, yes, but as far as like the hate, I don't think it was as vast as some people make it out to be.
I think based on my way of thinking, that's why I call it hate, because my metrics is not based on glitz and glam. My metrics is never based on. I don't look at something and say, oh, that guy has money, so let's invite him to our pulpit. He could be a demon, right? I can't look at a team and say, oh my God, they've won so many times, and say, no, that's it. Like, my initial thought is because they win, that's it. there could be nuances that we're not looking at, and maybe they're not that great, right? But if we were to even out the playing field, if we were to spread the money out, let's see how much character is there, because you can manufacture wins. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I look at things from a different lens, and I judge based on that. So if you are a true sports analyst and you're looking at a team and you're not capable of trying to look and find the different things that can make this team a little better, then we're going to get a bunch of people just saying mean-spirited stuff. And I think that's hate. That's how I judge what hate is. I think we look at what people just hating. No, I judge hate based on why you're not looking at this thing a little differently. That's how I judge hate.
Like I based off of the statement that you just made, like Jason Whitlock, that's hate.
That is definitely hate.
That's just pure hate.
Pure,
it don't have
blooded
any
hate.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with Colorado, but has everything to do with Coach Prime. Whatever lies deep within you that's causing you to feel a certain way towards the individual doesn't have anything.
Right.
It doesn't. If he went and started coaching Grambling State University next year, Jason Whitlock is still going to have that same hate. It doesn't have anything to do with the team, but everything to do with the person. Why? We shall never know. But you have people like Paul Feinbaum, like Phil was saying, they're going to analyze you whether you winning or not. They're going to look at every single thing. I don't necessarily.
And I would judge him as a hater too.
Right. You judge him as a hater?
I judge him as a hater based on my criteria.
Right. Well,
on my criteria only.
Well, I don't. Let me see. He came back and apologized, right? Not to say that people don't.
Why would he apologize? Why would you have to apologize if you can get it right the first time by not saying so many visceral things? Like, he's only a celebrity. He's not a coach. Why would you have to apologize? I wouldn't have to find.
Well, that type of, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that type of talking points, or which is what moves the needle to get more people viewing. He deep down inside, he may not feel like that, but in order
I can't judge that, but you only judge a man's heart by what comes out of his mouth.
That's true.
Right. So I can't judge whether he meant it or didn't mean it. It came out of his mouth. So it makes it hard for me to say, well, he wasn't a hater. I judge him from a hater's perspective because the way that
Let me give you this example, and I would like to know your take on it. Coach Prime had a young man to come to the front of the team and address them about wanting to become a firefighter after he leaves after he leaves CU, right? Mm-hmm. So Coach Prime reached out to the Chiefs and stuff and got this young man's name floating around the firehouse, like a recommendation. And who wouldn't want to have Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, call you and to recommend one of his players that has a desire to be a firefighter, right? That's something that's positive. That's something that we consider a good thing. We consider that as positive information. Now, if Coach Prime went out and done something else, or just went online and dog, I use Cormoney McClain, right? Both of those, you have a tendency of, based off a character, to go to see what he said dirty about Cormoney McClain versus looking at something positive, the positive aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Harry, just to give you a time check, it's 12:58. If you still got that hard out.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I'm just looking out for you. That's all.
So, all right. Phil, say your stuff. Say what you were going to say.
I forgot what I was going to say, so it must not have been that important. But if I'm going to give a closing remark, I'm going to just say I love all y'all. Make
Don't
sure
give
y'all
your
be
closing
nice to
remark
people.
yet. Don't give your closing remark yet.
Okay, well then ask me a specific question because I ain't got nothing else to say because I forgot what I was going
Because
to say.
this is my judgment of hate on Paul Feinbaum. Like X-Men said, it wasn't objective. Like certain parts of how he presented what he presented, it felt mean-spirited. Whenever you're mean-spirited, whether you hate the person or not, and you're just a football person, you're a football enthusiast and a purist, if there's a mean spirit that's coming from behind it, I call that hate. I'm gonna judge it as hate.
But just because somebody says something loud and bombastic doesn't mean that they're coming from a place of hate or being mean. Stephen A. Smith talks loud, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that because he says a negative thing loud that is therefore hate. So I
Well,
don't see it that way.
then I see it as hate.
But then do we have nothing else to discuss though?
I think
mean,
hate has to do with that. There are levels of hate. All right, so I don't know that there is like one definition of hate because then it'll be like racism. It's hard to define and it's hard to detect what's happening. So if it's mean spirited, then it's like if I don't like you, right? You are not like if you and I are friends and we have arguments, obviously that's inevitable to grow relationships. You got to have some type of conflict in order for you to know where you stand with the person. That happens. But if somebody's out there, they don't really know you and they're throwing mean-spirited stuff at you, I just feel like you don't like me. So there's no other way to look at it. I feel like if you're just gonna be mean just for the sake of being mean, every time you speak on me, you're gonna say mean things. I don't know how else people look at that. If it's my kid coming on the bus and somebody says, "Oh, your shoe sucks," that's mean-spirited. I don't know if you hate my son and you're being mean-spirited. That's a hate. Are you hating? So, anyways, last comments. Go ahead, Phil. Say your thing.
Hey man, like I always say, man, I love each and every one of y'all. Make sure y'all be nice to somebody. You know, sometimes people need it. We blessed to be a blessing. So if you are in fact blessed, then it is your job to go out there and bless somebody else. Good luck to Colorado tomorrow. I got them winning 41-38.
Yo, it's an early game. We're definitely going to be streaming that, so I hope y'all come back here because we're going to be talking we're either going to be biting our nails or we're going to be talking about who season's the best. Okay,
You doing a whole game, right? Or you just doing a post game?
No, I'm doing the whole game. What do you mean?
I'll be there. No. You said after the game. In my head, I was thinking you were saying that was going to be a post show, not the actual normal live.
Oh no,
game.
we're going to be streaming. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the game. I'm not going to show the game this time because then I don't get paid. My last two streams, I didn't get paid for it. So because I was showing too much copywritten material, so I got to get paid now. All right, Tim, what's your final thoughts, man? Let's get up out of here.
Yeah, you got to make that money back. But
I know.
another great show, Harry.
Very
Phil, great points. Harry, great points.
You guys came ready today.
CU fan and who was the other gentleman on earlier?
Ron Tate was on.
Ron Tate, great points. Wild Dog always in the chat throwing gems out. So I got Colorado winning tomorrow. I got them winning by, I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
I don't think you have a choice to protect that 10-2.
Yeah, I don't care if it's by safety. I'll take 2
I know.
as long as the win is a win.
Right.
Oh, Mata gonna miss a field goal tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, here we go. You said that last time and he didn't.
I'm gonna be right one of these days.
You gonna keep.
That's the one person
right.
I will hate on. Him and Tyler Brown. Those are 2 players I'm gonna hate on.
And I do want to say this though. I want to throw this out there in the atmosphere, man. If Colorado, I mean, you to me, this is just my spirit, and this is something I've been thinking about all week. You've been allowing me, and I'm pretty sure some of the other guys may feel the same way, allowing us to come on and talk with you on your platform all season long, even preseason. And I was just curious if Colorado make the Big 12 championship, do you have a desire to come to the game? And if so, I'm asking all TLP Sports members to to pitch in to get Harry B to the Big 12 championship because he been putting on for us all year, all season. I feel like we can pay it back toward him.
I'd rather have the party here because then we can chill. We can talk about it. Because when I'm out there, there's not much I can do because there's no signal, there's nothing out there, and I'm just going to the game. I'd rather be here and we can all just, I can have a community we can all celebrate. That's just how I like it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's it's way better. But
the game then.
No, I do. I do. The post game, you can get on your phone if you can get a signal. As soon as the game is over, as soon as you get a signal, you can come on the panel and talk with me. But yeah, I'd rather do it here.
They said Tim ain't really going to the game. He just working in the concession stand. That's what they said in the chat. That's what the Texas True said.
Yeah, and tell Texas True I'm gonna be selling Creole seasoning.
No, hey, that
Creole seasoning is overrated. Hey, go out and get your bandwagon buff shirt because if Colorado goes 10-2, 8-4, or whatever, listen, it's no time than right now to be a bandwagon buff guy. So bandwagonbuff.com or on this video on the channel, on the YouTube channel, get your bandwagon buff t-shirts, guys. Support the channel, or you can just subscribe to support, and it's free if you subscribe. But I gotta get up out of here, guys. Thank you for being on the panel, guys. I will see y'all tomorrow on doing the stream on the game. All right, guys.
All right,
man. Y'all have a blessed one.
Hey, you too. Take care, guys. All right. See y'all tomorrow on the stream, on the game. Peace out. Wild Dog, the Texas Truth, him. What up? Him is in the chat. Who else? X-Men. All of y'all in the chat. Viral 30 was out here. I don't know if he's still here. And all my panel members. CU fan. Father of one. Father of two. Husband of one. Too many names to remember. Y'all take care, man. I'll see y'all later. Peace out.